Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today we are going to be covering our weekly number reveal, and while this week is probably the lowest point we will hopefully see Classic WoW at, we have seen numbers drop or remain stagnant pretty much on all versions of Classic WoW, and that really begs the question, is it just the holidays? Is it just Christmas and New Year's when everyone's traveling, everyone's doing IRL things? I'd like to think so, however, trend data suggests otherwise. But before we get into the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everything you guys do helps my channel grow, helps me get discovered, and helps me help as many people as possible, which is the entire point of my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I am going to switch it over here. We're going to dive right into the numbers. I'm going to do a sort of expedited version of this. That way I don't just repeat myself for 5 minutes like I have been doing. As well as a disclaimer is that these are just rating numbers. So people who do not raid, people who do not log in and do raid with a Warcraft log, do not show up on this chart. So be very aware of that. As well as alts and players raiding multiple times a week on multiple characters do count as 2 characters, so very important to keep that in mind and be aware of that situation. So here we go, we're going to switch it over and dive right in. So this right here is the classic 2019 chart from all the way from when it came out in 2019 all the way up till Cata. You can see the breakpoints right here. This is when TBC launched, this is when Wrath launched, this is when Cata launched all the way over here, and then this is the current Cata number. So when we look back at Classic WoW, it peaked at approximately 490,000 players, and I'd say it averaged around that 300k mark throughout the entire expansion. Once the Nax hit, it kind of got way lower. Then we go into TBC, which peaked at about 400,000, and it held a strong about 350,000 player base. TBC was the most consistent rating that we have seen, and there's some big reasons why, but really awesome to see that. Then we have Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath, obviously the most popular expansion Blizzard has ever released, so of course it'll do good again. It peaked at 626,000 players, and I would say it averaged somewhere between 400 and 450,000 up until like week 20 of ICC. That's when we start to see the massive plummet. And then we come over to Cataclysm here, which had a little bit of a slow lead up, but it peaked at 317,000 players, and since then it has been nothing but downhill. It has gone all the way to 102k. It bottomed out here at 50k, but this was right before Firelands launched. And then it has held this 120k mark, and then the past 2 weeks it has fallen, and this most recent week it went to 101k. Cicada looking a little scarce. However, this is the week of the December 24th to the 30th, so please keep that in mind when we're looking at those numbers. But something that's super alarming is just the drop off for Cataclysm. As you can see, all 3 of these expansions held steady player bases over 300k pretty much all the entirety of Classic. Then those people came here, started playing, and then immediately have fallen to around 100k, 120k pretty quickly. So it seems that a third of the base is the core instead of that 300,000, which is really alarming for Cata players and people who enjoy Cataclysm as well. But just my thoughts and opinions on that. We'll come back to this chart when we talk about Anniversary as well. Next, let's talk about Season of Discovery. So this is Phase 1 of SoD. Phase 2 is this first drop-off. Phase 3 is this next drop-off. Phase 4 is right here, and Phase 5 is right here, and then Phase 6 is over here. So with Phase 1, it peaked at almost 500,000 players, and a very important thing to note with Phase 1 of Season of Discovery with that 500k number is that people could have very easily leveled a character from 1 to 25 and did BFD in the same day. I was 8 people in some of these lists because I was in a big guild and everyone was doing them, and I had every character for the rune videos, so I was raiding on every character just to do it. Then the next one we have here is Nomergon, and as you can see, Phase 2 was pretty good. It dropped off quite a lot because probably of alts, as I mentioned there, as well as we see this is where 25 to 40 just was a lot of leveling. Then people slowly got up here. However, Nomergon was the shortest phase. 25 to 40 was super short, and we just instantly went into Sunken Temple. It was really interesting to see that, but as you can see, right as it peaked, it started to fall off because we went right into Sunken Temple and never got that time to really mature. And then we went into Sunken Temple right here at about 160,000 players, and Sunken Temple was two things. It was one, really difficult, and it bumped it to 20-man raids instead of just 10-man raiding, which really took a heavy toll and made it really pug unfriendly. And then Cataclysm also launched during this time, but SoD got to an all-time low of 20,000 people. However, Phase 4 launched and revived SoD, hitting about 75k in that first week, all the way up to 88,000, which is really cool to see. And then it, held strong there, fluctuating about 10k. Then we got BWL, where it hit that 88 mark again. People really loved BWL in that phase. It stayed at 88k pretty much the entire time, which is really cool to see. And then when AQ came out right here, it was pretty bumpy. It was, AQ was released in phases, so like this was kind of like drug out for BWL and then into AQ. And AQ's is held about 63, but Descent into Madness was a mess at the start, and as you can see, it's holding strong at about 55,000 players. Now, I will say with SoD, I have been noticing a lot of people online were getting like 4 to 5 layers again, and I think that is largely due to the Phase 7/Phase 8 announcements that I have covered, and that it being the Scarlet Enclave, as well as Cares and Crypts, as well as the rune vendors being there from the beginning, so you don't have some monstrous chore list of getting 40 runes to go into it. You can just log in and bam, you have all of your runes for all the classes and specs that you want, which is really awesome. And I think we will see a massive rise in SoD rating, maybe even break that 100k mark again here soon, but time will certainly tell with that. Onward to Classic Era and Anniversary. So Era is continuing to fall. This is no surprise because they released fresh launch with Anniversary. Last Era was around a 9,400, but holidays plus that, it just really has started to fall down pretty rapidly. I'd imagine this number keeps falling till there's just a few devout players still raiding there and doing whatever they enjoy. Next, we're going to go over to Anniversary. So Anniversary is continuing to grow these past 3 weeks. So it grew from 20k to 26k, then 26k to 36k, which is good. It's just not as good as I would expect it to be, and it is nowhere near on par with what we are seeing in with what we saw with 2019. Like, the population just isn't there, and it is really alarming. I know a lot of people always are critical of my opinions with this and talking about it, but I'm just using math and data from what we have, what we're seeing, what we're looking at, and comparing it because it is the best comparison I have. I don't have other numerical data. I can tell you that even right now, like I'm on Anniversary right now, and we have 3 layers on a weekend. We've been running 5 to 10 layers. I will flash it over here just to show you right here. 3 layers on a Sunday at 10 a.m. So normally, like, we were at 5. I really haven't seen it drop below 5 till recently. Obviously, this could be holidays as well. I am not discounting that. But what I really want to show you and highlight, same with what I did last week, is we have this 36k raider number. If we go back here to where we were at with Classic, we're at the 75k mark. So we are just under half of that. So we will continue to monitor this because I think this is the best trend, comparing it to the week that we were at with 2019 and the week that we were here, just to get a gauge of how many players are here or are not here. So this next jump is going to be huge because this is when Classic really started to pick up these next 3 weeks. And so time will certainly tell where we are going to be at in those next couple weeks. But once again, I hope Classic WoW is doing good. I am just still going to be honest and report the numbers as they come in and as they are given to me in this data. I wish I had better population data than just raid numbers, but at the end of the day, this is what I have, and this is what we're going off of, using that to draw some hopefully pretty decent conclusions and data and looking at this stat analysis. But that means we're still between that 40 and 50% mark that we talked about last week with the 41%. However, I hope that it continues to go up because Classic WoW doing good is how we get Classic Plus, and I love Classic WoW. That's why I play all versions of these games and enjoy it. Another thing that you can also acknowledge is hardcore. I have no way to quantify how good hardcore is doing. I know it's popular. People are telling me there's 10 layers all the time, every day at least, and their Nova World buff only tell them 10 layers. So if there's more than 10 layers, it starts to break. But if that's true and everyone's still going hard in hardcore, love to hear that. That's probably where our missing population is, because you know the people that came for Classic WoW are probably doing it again, because that's just how Classic is. But anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Definitely drop it down below, and until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.